Welcome to my channel, Westpol, which stands for Western Politics. It's self-funded by me, and it's basically just looking at the West from another view. If you like my work, please do like, share and subscribe, and comment below if you have any questions or any other views, or if you want to let me know about anything else. Thank you. Alright guys, let's get the show underway. Today we'll be looking at the right and the left of politics. Basically, conservative ideologies and socialist ideologies. Conservatism is normally associated with the right wing of politics, while socialism is seen to be the left side of politics, which is easily said and done. So we'll be breaking that down, and so we can better understand how politicians talk. Every democratic society is the same. However, the names associated with the right and the left of the political spectrum are different. For instance, in the US, Republicans are seen as the conservative party, whilst the Democrats represent the left of the political sphere. In Australia, we have the Liberals sitting at the right, and the Labor Party is supposed to be on the left, but the Greens are sitting there most of the time. All of this information may be very confusing. What's the big deal, and why do politicians say stuff they do? Well, to understand this, one has to understand the conservative and the socialist ideologies. Before I get into things, here is a look at some of the words that I'll be using. Free market is an unregulated system of economical exchange. In political terms, it means that a government that believes there should be no restrictions such as tax and reforms and whatnot on companies. Market failure is a term that defines insufficient distribution of goods and services, which in political terms means a conservative whom sits to the middle of the political sphere due to the acknowledgement that there are people in society whom are worse off than others and need help. These sort of politicians are known as reform liberals. Collectivistic society is a society where the family is seen to be of importance and the individual can be sacrificed for the good of the family. Individualistic societies are societies where the individual is of importance. An example of this is Australia is an individualistic country. For us to see a Japanese person in a picture wearing a mask sitting in a train station, we think, oh, she's protecting herself from diseases that might be in public. But in actual fact, if you look at it from a collectivistic society, which Japan is, she's actually protecting society from germs she's got. She might have a cold or flu, so she puts a mask on. So that's the difference in thinking there. Politics has everything to do with money and wealth. The conservative ideology states that those whom produce wealth, for example, hold the power and the means to produce, have the right to have the wealth safeguarded and have the right to their property. In simple words, if you have money, a house, live a certain way, you're the top 1%, that is because you have worked hard for it, and the government is here to ensure that you can hold on to your wealth. Basically, the government is your slave rather than you being under the government. By giving a business, and this is done by giving businesses tax cuts to be able to create jobs, etc. Therefore, conservatism favors institutions and practices that have evolved gradually and are manifestations of continuity and stability towards the way of life. So, in this ideology, the wealthy are wealthy because they deserve it, and looking after them would make more jobs. Another example of conservatism is promoting competition between businesses by, let's say, privatizing of services like water or electricity. So 2, 3, 4 companies are fighting to provide the same service. So in essence, what they will be doing is trying to get you the same service at a cheaper price, at good customer service and things like that. This is done to promote a free market in theory. This kind of ties it into capitalism, and the far right of this is known as fascism. Socialism, or the left ideology, you guessed it, simply put, is the opposite. Socialism calls for the public ownership of wealth, such as control of property and natural resources. In a socialistic country, the government would control the means of production. For example, in a socialistic society, it is believed that the wealthy and the general society have a collective responsibility towards sharing their fortunes with the less fortunate, such as people with a physical disability, mental disability, experiencing financial hardship, etc. In this sort of society, the government would own the water, for example, the water, electricity, and it would manage it and it'll give it to people. Due to its ideas, socialism is pitted against conservative ideology. The extreme of the left of socialism would be called communism. Feminism puts itself with the left wing of the political spectrum. However, feminism is about individualism and self-achievement. It's about pop stars and the television and narcissism. It's not about subsidizing childcare or institutional and structural social change. It's meaningless. I understand that words such as masculinity and femininity get you a bad rep these days. But where are the feminine values in our community? Care, empathy, and love of a mother are lacking from the modern world, and it does not bother anyone. Good intentions are nothing against the systematic oppression. The system is older than you. It has absorbed a lot more venom than you can ever hope to emit. You will not even slow it down. It is a repeated problem with the Western politics, the lack of clear goals. Those marches that were celebrated in the US after Donald Trump got elected, they were good for the heart. But had municipal elections in the US since then, where the turnouts were like 15 to 20%. During the women's strike in March, I saw a journalist ask a woman what she was going to do instead of working. She said, "Oh, I'm going to do something empowering, like watching Buffy Vampire Slayer." I mean, come on, let's do something here. Feminism is destroying the importance of the role of women in a successful and functioning society by belittling the roles of mothers. Full stop. Mothers are the cornerstone of any society. It has been throughout time. And feminism is not about mothers, it's not about the old women, it's not about blacks, it's not about yellows, it's not about the Muslims. It has one way. It's the single white woman between the ages of, let's say, around early 20s and right till about late 30s. It's not about menopause, it's not about helping old women in the workforce and coming to terms with menopause and anything like that. It's just about one little goal. If you're Muslim, you gotta fit with that goal. If you're wearing a hijab and you're being Muslim and you're following your Muslim, you're obviously oppressed. If you're black and you're going to your husband and doing your thing as a black person, you're oppressed. Anything but white girls value, anything beyond that, it's oppressed. So that's destroying our society at the moment. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it.